Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Hey, this is the Layla. Yes, I know you're looking at the title and like, why did she say these damn kids? Yeah, these damn kids. I sure did say it. These damn kids, man. Let me tell you something. I have been dealing with my son. He had been going through some of these, what you call it, growing pains or rebellious stages or whatever you want to call it. This little boy has been going through it and he has been putting me and his pops through it. Last night, I had one of the biggest migraines that I have probably haven't had in a very long time. See, let me give you some back history on me. So I ain't gonna say used to, I still do, but from time to time it has been getting a little better. I've been suffering from migraines. The last time I had a really bad migraine, I was married to that damn fool that I used to be married to, the narcissist. But ever since I let him go, I haven't had those migraines anymore until last night. I had one of the biggest migraines. The light was bothering me. Noise was bothering me. I was very nauseous. I thought I was going to throw up. I had this pressure build up in my head and my neck and shoulders. And you want to know why? Because of my damn child. These damn kids, man. I got one. I can only imagine how you guys have what y'all going through with 2 and 3. You know how you can say, well, I have this good kid and I got this bad kid. Now, my good kid, I don't have to worry about that child. But that bad kid, oh my goodness, that damn child right there put something to work my nerves. My mama got this saying that your kids ride you. She said, when they're young, they ride your lap. When they're older, they ride your heart. This little boy that I got ride my lap and my heart at the same time. And that's not good. Now, I know y'all know the history back when I was telling you that I had gotten him out the foster home and everything. Okay, yeah. He coming with some issues. I ain't say he is coming with some issues. No, he coming with some issues, okay? He coming with some issues. Leave the ears out. I know that I was going to have to deal with some issues, but I didn't realize it was going to be like this. I was thinking like, okay, well, I know him because that's my blood nephew and he's from my bloodline. I should be able to handle him. And on top of that, I've been dealing with this little boy since he was born. So he's not a stranger to me and I'm not a stranger to him. So this shouldn't be that hard. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, how I was so wrong. He's a master manipulator, you guys. Oh, yeah, he's cute. Oh yeah, he cute. He cute. On the outside, and then but the inside, oh no, no. This little boy got some. So me and his pops, we get a call from his teacher, and that was back when last week, Friday, matter of fact, last Friday, and she said, "Hey, I have to call y'all because." This is not the first time. This is not the second time. This is like the third time. He stole suckers out of my desk. I'm like, oh, so we got a little thief on our hand. That's not cool. We shouldn't be raising no little thief. That ain't how it works. This ain't right. I don't like that. So I decided that I'm going to have to find a way to discipline him, but a way that's going to stick, something that's going to be reminded, something that's going to help, something he's going to always think about that, hey, if I do that again, then I'm going to, mom, she's going to do this. But, okay, we thought that was going to work, but it didn't work. You wouldn't know what did we do. What do we do? So he likes television. He's like a fanatic with television and also electronics and technology. I think all kids are. So took that away. Now he's going to have to earn back his TV time. So I told him, look, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is school day. But Sunday is actually a school night. So that means Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you don't get to watch TV. But on Friday and Saturday, you can watch TV only if you have done good at school. That means you get no notes, no marks on your folder saying that you have done anything that you weren't supposed to do. You done your homework, and you haven't done anything that you're not supposed to do. Do you understand that? He's like jumping and stuff, because when I do that kind of stuff like that, it makes him jump. So he's like, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. So basically, that's your punishment. But you also gonna have to read a book every single day. He's like, I like reading. I said, yeah, you like reading when you want to read. But when you don't want to read, you don't like it. So guess what? You're going to read every single day. And we're going to read books that make sense. That's going to teach you life lessons and stuff like that. Not just funny books. So he's like, oh, man. I said, uh-huh. So I'm thinking I'm getting his attention. So this first weekend goes by. He don't get no TV. So he's just trying to, so basically he's in my hair. I'm gonna tell you that. Now that he has nothing to do on his own, he wants to be in the way. So he's following me around the house. He's following me around the house. Then he follow his pops around the house. And he sits with his pops, and his pops watching TV. I said, oh, you think you slick. You ain't watching TV. Come on out of that room. You're not gonna watch TV. So I constantly have to stay on him. Sometimes I feel like when I punish him, I'm punishing myself, because it just feels like now I got to monitor him. Got to make sure that, I got to monitor him anyway, but I got to make sure that he ain't doing what he ain't supposed to be doing constantly, because he's a slickster. This little boy, another thing that he do, when he doing his homework, he comes over, because I'm in the living room watching TV. He'll come over and he'll stop and pause and look at the TV for a second. And then, Mom, I got a question about this work. But he's looking at the TV the whole time. I said, boy, you don't stop looking at the TV, so I turn the TV off. I said, oh, you think you slick? You not slick. Stop trying to watch TV. You can't watch TV at all. You can't even look at the TV. I don't care if the TV ain't on. You can't look at it. So basically, I almost want to take the TV out the living room and don't have a TV in the living room, period. And I did think about doing that, though. I have done it before. It won't be the first time. But I just felt like, okay, he don't have electronic devices, because I took his tablet. I took everything that he has that he can get on internet with. He don't have it. So he go back to school. And yesterday, I get another phone call from his teacher. This time it's the librarian. And she's like, Kareem broke the rules. He broke our trust. I'm like, okay, when you break rules, you don't necessarily always break trust. So what did he actually do to break your trust? That's what I want to know. Well, we have two rules in the library. When you get on the computer, you're not supposed to search the web, and you're not supposed to download. He did both. Oh, hell no. My blood pressure went to the roof. And I don't even have high blood pressure. But for some reason, it did last night. And I had the most migraine ever. Because from the time she called me at about 1 o'clock, I think it was about 12 noon, up until last night when it's time to lay down, I couldn't get my pressure down. I was just so over the hills when it comes to trying to figure out what we're going to do to get this little boy to understand that the things that he's doing is wrong. But not only that it's wrong, it can cause him to go to jail if he don't stop. He's breaking rules and he's stealing. We got a problem. This is not normal. This is not healthy. Something is wrong with this. We're going to have to figure out something to do. So I'm talking to my husband about it. So we started talking about some alternative methods. Well, one of the methods that I come up with is maybe he needs some therapy. Maybe that could help. Find a child therapist that can talk to him, that he can just get out his feelings and talk about what's happening to him. And maybe the therapist can come up with some solutions, but I don't want him being on no medication. So that means he ain't seeing no psychiatrist, just a therapist, someone who can't prescribe medicine, because I don't want him on medication. I believe that medication is a crutch when it comes, I put it like this. I believe that prescription drugs that's dealing with the mind is a crutch because of the fact that it can make them dependable for the rest of their life on this drug. And if they get off the drug, it does more harm than good. And I don't want my child dealing with being on prescription medicine forever, because his biological mother is diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenic. And her mother, who had recently passed away, was also diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenic. And one of her other siblings, one of her brothers, is diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenic. So I see this is a hereditary situation. And I have to take that in consideration. Maybe at this point in my child's life, he's dealing with some issues in that way. I hate to say it, but I'm thinking that could be part of what's going on with him. Anyways, with his biological mother, I have witnessed this woman flip out to a point to where I didn't recognize her. All because she wasn't on her medication. She decided she didn't want to take them anymore because she say they make her feel not like herself. Well, I don't know what your self is. Well, what is yourself? What does that look like? Because since I've known you, this is what I've known about you. So I don't get it. Well, that's why I'm like, no, I don't want my child on medication, because the day that he chooses not to take that stuff anymore, he's going to flip out like her. And what I mean by flip out, okay, one night, well, my son was 1 year old, and she got mad at my brother for whatever the reason, I don't know. But I saw the video of her. Taking a butcher knife and running and chasing my brother down the street, talking about she was gonna kill him. And he's in his drawers. Nothing else on. No shoes on his feet, no pants, no t-shirt, no nothing, just bare chested. All he have on is drawers. And it's like 2:00 in the morning. How did I see that video? Well, my stupid brother was the one recording it because he's stupid like that. But not just that, some of the neighbors came outside of the house and they was talking to her, trying to calm her down, stop her from doing what she's doing, and saying, hey, look, this ain't cool. What's wrong with her? Why is she doing this? What's going on? If you stab him, you're going to prison, all this crazy stuff. So basically what I'm saying is that this girl have some real deep issues. So I say, okay, so my child, if he inherited any of those traits, that's not good. So we're going to have to figure out a way to help him so that doesn't be happening, because that massive manipulation, that doesn't just come from being bipolar. That don't come from that. Being a manipulator comes from a personality. That's a personality. That's also a spirit. That's definitely what that is. So I need to find someone who can probably do deliverance, because he needs to be delivered from this stuff. But also, when it comes to the stealing, I asked him.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, These pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alelacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. Who taught you that? Because I don't steal. Your pops don't steal. So you definitely didn't see it from us. So who taught you that? And he said, my real your real parents. Okay, that kind of struck a nerve when he said that my real parents. That's two things that bothered me. Number one, the real part. Number two, he hasn't seen them in a long time. So how is that still part of you constantly thinking it's okay to do it? And we already had this discussion before. Not only that we had this discussion before, we have a friend who is a police officer. My son stole from Walmart one day. And I was so livid that I wanted to figure out a way to scare him straight. So I told my husband about it. He called his friend. He said, hey, can you do us a favor? Come to the house in your cop uniform and act like you're going to take him to jail, that you have seen him stealing out of Walmart, and then you know how, that you know where he lived at because you saw the license plate and you pulled it up, and that's how you're able to find where he lived, and you're going to take him to jail. So he did that. His friend did all that. We thought that was going to scare him straight. Evidently, he must think one or two things. We're no longer in the city of Houston where that cop was, so he comes here to Louisiana and said, well, hey, maybe I can do it and get away with it here, or he just didn't care. I don't know which one it is, but either way it go, I decided that I was going to show him a video of boys locked up, little boys his age. The youngest one was 8 years old. Well, they wasn't necessarily locked up. What was that it's a program where the parents who have disobedient children, rebellious kids that don't want to do right in school, that are stealing or running the streets, and they want to try to, they last resort before they just throw their hands up, is to try to get them some kind of help. So what they do, it's a program somewhere in South Carolina where the cops come to their house, pick them up, pretty much like what I was trying to do with my son with the scare straight thing. But they literally do pick him up. They put him in handcuffs. They put him in the back of the car. They send them and drive him to the police station. They not only at the police station, they're actually at a penitentiary, and they spend the weekend in the penitentiary 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. They spend 2 days there. While they're spending 2 days there, they go through an extensive training of scare tactics to try to scare these kids straight. They sit and they talk to inmates. Inmates talk to them about why they're locked up, what they do to little boys like them when they get there. They put them through some kind of like workouts. They work out. They get up 4 o'clock in the morning. They're cleaning. They're mopping floors. They're doing all this stuff. And then they sit down and they let them have one little visit with their parents. The parents come and they're talking through a glass window over the phone. They're trying to give them the whole experience without harming the kids, how it really is being in prison. So I showed my son this video and I said, we're going to send you there. He said, oh no, I don't want to go. I said, that's what we're going to do. I said, for the summer, when you finish school, after you graduate, and you better graduate to the 4th grade. But if you don't graduate to the 4th grade, you are for sure going to that place. I said, but if you graduate to the 4th grade, you don't get into no more trouble the rest of the school year, then you'll get to go on family vacation with us, and you won't have to go and spend your time there with the other boys. But if you do get into trouble again, you might as well be ready, because that's what we're going to send you. You're going to spend your summer at a boot camp. And he's like, But to be honest with you guys, I'm actually seriously thinking about this. This is not a joke. I'm literally thinking about sending him to a summer boot camp where he could get some type of reform going on in his mind to help him to think instead of just do. To Because I asked him another question. I said, you know what? When you was sitting at the desk, because I know you're sitting next to your teacher, and you saw the candy, what was going through your mind at that time to make you say, I'm going to take that candy? And not only one, two, or three, you took a lot. So what was going through your mind? He was like, it just kept calling me. I said, candy can't call you. Oh no, it was just like, take me. I said, no, it ain't no damn candy calling you, telling you to take it. I said, that is the devil telling you to take it. I said, so you are doing the devil's work. That's what's going on there. I said, let me tell you something. Yes, I am very spiritual. Yes, I am, you guys. I am very spiritual. I do look to God for answers, and I also know that there's a hell and a heaven. Y'all might not believe it, but I do. So, yes, I teach him the way of life, that if you do wrong, you be punished. When you do right, you get rewarded. Yes, I do teach him that. So I say, okay, so you're doing the devil's work by stealing. You know that's a crime, right? And you will go to jail. And then not only you can go to jail, you can go to prison. You can be there for your whole life. They take your life away. You might not think they take your life away, but let's say they come pick you up, you're 9 years old. And by the time they decide to let you out, you're 14. I said, you done lost all your freaking childhood right there. Now you have to figure out how to catch up with life. And then you're going to have a hard time trying to figure out how to get back on track. I said, that's not good. You don't need that kind of life. That's why we're trying to teach you not to do the things that you're doing. So yesterday, like I said, I had such a big migraine, and it was because of the stress, and I was upset at the same time. So stress, being upset, it don't mix with me. I see that now. So I realized that I got to come up with a better alternative to relax, not to allow things to bother me as much. But it's hard not to let things bother you when it's your own kid. That is like the hardest thing ever, especially when you do so much for your children. You give them everything that they need and a lot of the things that they want, and you like, dude, you want for really nothing. You want for nothing except for the things that you want. You want an iPhone that costs $1,200, dude. They ain't buying you that. You can't even take care of the phone that you have that costs $100. Stop playing with me. So that kind of stuff, and that ungratefulness. Kids are very ungrateful. I don't care what nobody say. Kids are freaking ungrateful. They don't care how much you do for them. They are so ungrateful. You can do so much for your children. The minute that you tell them no, they feel like the whole world has just collapsed and they don't care about nothing else. They act like that you owe them the world and you're supposed to do it. And because you're not doing it, now they're mad at you and everybody else. And I'm like, dude, you got clothes on your body. You got shoes on your feet. You have everything that you can possibly want. Everything that you can possibly want. You get food. You get to eat all kinds of junk food. You get all kinds of stuff that you shouldn't even be eating anyway. And then you get things that you are supposed to eat. And then you don't want that. And all this stuff I'm going through. And I say, I don't like a spoiled kid. I just don't. I don't like kids that spoil. I feel like it's okay to spoil your kids to a certain degree, but when they over the top spoil, they act like that. When you say no, oh, they don't know how to handle it. And we grew up to be this narcissist type of person. And that's not what I'm trying to raise. I'm not trying to raise a narcissistic kid that's going to turn out to be a narcissistic adult. So there's another thing here that I have to mention. This little boy, he decides that he wants to go to school and break another rule. I got the teacher calling me and his dad. He's getting on the computer, he's breaking rules. We have two rules here. He is not allowed to be on the internet and he is not allowed to download, and he done both. And I'm like, what did you download? Oh, I downloaded a game. Oh. It might not seem like a big deal to some of you guys, but it's a big deal when this is a part of their rules. Now they're like, well, he broke our trust. So because he broke our trust, he is no longer allowed to come to the library and get on the computers anymore. My husband said he shouldn't have been on the computers in the first place. I don't know why y'all let kids get on the computers in the first place. I could see them doing work on the computer. So what was he supposed to be doing? He said, well, we already have some things on the computer that they're allowed to go to and get on. They can get on that. And it is free time, and they can, play only the games that we allow them to play. And it's dealing with like adding and subtracting and reading, but it's games. I'm like, okay. Now I see why he downloaded that race car game, because he don't want to do no adding and subtracting and reading and stuff. Oh, this little boy here. Oh, he's a slickster. I said, okay. He don't need that privilege, no way. Take it away. And please don't give it back to him, because he don't need that privilege. I don't know why you gave it to him in the first place. And so my husband's like, oh, no, don't let him be fooling you, because he's a slickster. He'll sit there and be all cute in your face, and then you got to keep your eyes on him. You cannot take your eyes off him. So I was like, okay, we got to come up with a better alternative, because this ain't gonna work. Maybe I need to get some parenting. Well, I can't say any parenting classes, because I did take parenting classes when I was with him and dealing with him with the foster home. So that is not it. What do you do when you have a kid who steals, who lies, and manipulate? What do you do? Some people say, I'll beat their ass. Okay, let's say that doesn't work. Say you do that. Then what do you do? So I, last night, I didn't realize that I stumbled upon something. I decided I was going to cut his hair completely bald headed. But I had just only mentioned that. I wasn't necessarily going to do it. But the reaction that I got from him was so timeless. I mean, he broke down. Mama, no, please don't cut my hair. I said, I'm going to cut you bald. I'm going to cut you completely bald. Oh, no, Mama, no. I said, why not? Why? Why not? I used to cut your hair before. You had no problem. But no, you never cut it bald. I said, yeah, I'm going to cut you so bald. You're going to be so smooth like butter, baby. He's like, no. I said, what's so dramatic about you getting your hair cut? It's gonna grow back. No, because my friends are gonna make fun of me. I said, ding, 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 ding. I done stumbled across the gold mine, you guys. I know exactly what to do to get your attention. I am going to embarrass you in front of your friends. Yes, that's a good one. And until that stopped working, that's what I'm going to use. And so he's like, oh my God. And I mean, this little boy was boo-hoo crying, crocodile tears for over an hour. And I'm like, okay, your tears ain't going to make me change my mind. So I got the clippers out, the trimmers out. I was ready to give him one. But then I said, you know what? I'm going to give you one more chance. One more chance. I said, see, this is what's called grace. God give us grace. He always gives us an opportunity to do better the next time. And so I'm going to extend some grace to you. Instead of me cutting your hair tonight, I'm going to give you a pass. And I'm going to let you show us that you deserve to keep the hair on your head without us shaving you completely bald. And you're going to school every day in front of your kids like that. I mean, in front of your friends like that. And he's like, oh, thank you, Mama. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I said, that's a dang on shame that I have to threaten this boy like that. But if it works, why not use it? So we're going to see how this go. Today is day one. When he come home from school in about 30 minutes, I'm going to know if he got a mark. And I'm not going to lie. If he got a mark on that paper, I'm getting them clippers out and I'm cutting his hair. I'm gonna shave him completely bald. And I know he got the weekend Friday. He got Saturday and Sunday. Come Sunday night, I'm gonna shave it off some more to make sure no little stubs has grown back. And he gonna go to school Monday with a fresh bald head, and he gonna go there looking crazy. The friends of his gonna laugh and laugh and laugh. And the thing is that who told on him was one of his friends that he was on the computer downloading games and playing games. It was one of his friends. And I told him that. I said, one of your friends was the one that ratted you out. And you want to be all cool in front of these dang on boys and don't even realize that they're the ones who's actually helping you get in trouble. How ironic is that? So, you know, when I decided that I wanted to have kids, I remember I was young and I always wanted to be a mother, but I was afraid to get pregnant at a young age, so I kept myself with birth controls and everything. But when that time came that I was ready to have a child, I wasn't able to get pregnant or anything. And I was like, okay, well, since I'm not able to get pregnant, what do I do? I thought about adoption, but that was really something that I really wanted to do. But I felt like, okay, when my nephew, now who's my son, when he was born, that I can embrace him as my own child, which I did. But of course, when you got parents like his that's doing the things that they do, such as, drugs and being in and out of jail, prison, fighting, it's not easy to have to try to instill morals into a child that's raised in that environment. And he was such a beautiful baby and such a beautiful kid growing up. I felt like, dang, got to get him early. You do. You got to get them before they understand what's happening around them. And I couldn't do that because, of course, he didn't belong to me. But when he went into the foster home, he was 5 years old. So he clearly could understand what was happening around him at that time. So it was traumatic for me, and it was definitely destined that I had gotten him out of the foster home because I did not want him growing up in an environment such as that. I understand that a lot of kids don't be that great when they grow out. Everybody's not Tiffany Haddish. I'm sorry. Everybody is not Sylvester Stallone. Everybody don't grow up to be like that. So I didn't want to take that chance that this little boy was going to grow up to be something that was just not in his future, but yet it became his future. So I wanted to help get him out of there as much as I could and as fast as I could. So I went through the process that I told you guys on previous podcasts that I had to do to get him out of there. I did that. Now that we got him, he still is having effects from being around the people that he was with in the foster home and the parents that he was born to and the relatives of theirs. I ain't even mentioned the relatives. Oh my goodness. So I'm not saying that my side of the family is the great thing. I'm not saying that at all because we got our issues too. Yes, we do. But his biological mom's side of the family. So I thought that I could help him stay in contact with and connected to that side by being cool with one of his aunts. So one of his aunts, she lived in Houston too. So I was thinking like, okay, well, she stayed where I stay. It'd be cool. And to me, she was the only decent one out of the group that I knew about. I said a group because his biological mother have 7 siblings, 9 or 7 siblings. I know it's a lot of them. And all of them are not great. But this one particular one, she, to me, has her master's degree and she's doing, she's also was one that was helping raise other siblings' children too. She was one of the ones who was dealing with foster home. So I could relate to her because I feel that we had similar stories. Like, you know what? Let's be each other's support system. And for a little while, it was going pretty well until the last encounter. She asked me, can she have my son to spend Christmas with her and his cousins. I was like, okay, what y'all gonna do? Well, we're gonna go to San Antonio, which y'all know that's where the biological mother live at, and my brother. We're gonna and the other siblings. So we're gonna go to San Antonio, but we're gonna be at one of my other cousins' house, away from all of them. I was like, okay. So I'm trusting her. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she decided that she wanted to get me to buy a suit for my son because they was gonna take Christmas pictures. They was gonna have a party at the cousin's house and everything, and they all was gonna dress up, and he wanted him to be in a suit. At this time, it's Christmas. It's hard to find a suit for a kid. I mean, I went to 5 different stores. I was trying to find a suit. I'm like, girl, and what color do this suit need to be? Well, black and gold. Black and gold. Well, the suit can be black, the shirt gold. Okay, it shouldn't be hard to find a black suit, but it was definitely hard to find a gold shirt. So I'm still trying to find. I went all these stores until finally I got to one store, which was Target, and they had one suit left that was in his size, and I bought it. So I take the suit over to her house and take my son over to her house. At this time, I had just got engaged. My husband had proposed to me right before that. And I'm with my engagement ring and I'm like excited and I'm telling her, hey, I'm engaged. And she's like, oh, okay. No congratulations or none of that. And I'm thinking like, dang, did I do something? Did I say something? What's wrong with her? Why she not congratulating me? And she said, girl, I got all this stuff here to do. I got to get these clothes together for these kids. And at this time, she had just had her own baby. That's her first child. She just had this child. This child's under 1 year old. Matter of fact, this child had to be about 3 or 4 months years old. And then she had her adopted daughter who was 2. And then she had her, which came from her brother. Then she had a foster home child, which was 5, and he came from her sister, and then another child, which was 17, and he came from her sister. The boy and the 2 boys are brothers. So she's like, I got all this stuff to do, and I didn't expect her to be so excited about me. I didn't expect it, and I understood that. Okay, she's overwhelmed right now, and I'm thinking like, dang, she really want to take on my child with all this chaos she got going on. And I'm thinking like, okay, this is what she asked for though, so okay, well, she can handle it. So I ended up leaving. She ended up calling me as I was driving and gonna have the nerves to ask me, do you know your husband? Do you know your fiance well enough to be marrying him? Girl, who are you to tell me anything about my relationship? I said, yes, I know him. I've been knowing him since 2012. Girl, it's been a long time. He's a really good friend of mine before we even became dating. So what are you talking about? Well, I'm just asking because, you not that far from getting a divorce. Girl, ain't none of your damn business what I do. So I felt the animosity there. I also felt a little jealousy there. And I was thinking like, I don't know what's going on with her because I saw, are you mad because your baby daddy ain't marrying you? Oh, no, I don't need to get married. I don't need to get married. I ain't asking him to marry me. And I'm like, well, but you questioning my relationship with my soon to be husband, with my fiance. And that's not right. And I don't feel any support from you in this. And that's not cool. At that point, as I was driving back to the house, I kind of wanted to turn back around. I think I really wish I would have, because we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. I wish I would have went back and got my son and said, you know what, my son's gonna spend Christmas with us. He's not gonna spend Christmas with y'all. But I didn't do that. I let him go ahead and go to San Antonio. They get to San Antonio. I call. She said, yeah, we made it. We're at my cousin's house. I said, let me talk to my son. He gets on the phone. I said, whose house y'all at? We at cousin, somebody, whatever. I said, okay, that's fine. They there. So now keep in mind, he's spending Christmas break with them. They get 2 weeks off for Christmas. So he only spent 1 week there. That's 7 days. When my son came back home, there was a suitcase that I sent him with. I opened up the suitcase and I smelled this awful urine smell. And I was like, wait a minute. And I called my son and said, did you pee on yourself? And he said, well, I was trying to go to the bathroom and they wouldn't let me go into the bathroom. So I couldn't hold it. So what you mean they wouldn't let you go in the bathroom? And he's like, well, my cousin Demonte was taking up the bathroom time and I couldn't hold it. So I peed on myself. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna be mad at you. I'm not gonna be mad at you. But what I am mad at is that they put these pissy clothes back in the suitcase the way it is and didn't wash it or try to wash it or anything. They didn't even put it in plastic to try to separate it from the rest of your clothes. I was so mad. Then I'm like, okay, well, where's your suit? And he's like, well, Aunt Shanice told me to. I said, Aunt Shanice, wait a minute. When you at your cousin's house? Well, we was, but then Aunt Crystal took me over to Aunt Shanice's house, and that's why I stayed the rest of the time at. I said, so you stayed over to your Aunt Shanice's house. Don't you know that oh my God, this ain't right. This ain't right. Because the thing is that Shanice stays in a neighborhood that is crackheads and drug dealers in that area. And I don't want him in that area. I'm trying to keep him from having that situation on his mind or in that environment, period. So as I'm hearing the story, I'm getting mad, but I'm trying to keep my cool. And he's like, "Well, Aunt Shanice, she told me to put the suit by the door, and I put it by the door." And I'm thinking like, okay, so you didn't bring it back with you. So I ended up calling his aunt that I took him to because she's responsible for everything. So I asked her about the wet pants and I asked her about the missing suit. She tells me, call Shanice. Call Shanice. I said, I shouldn't have to call Shanice. I should be talking to you and you call Shanice because he wasn't supposed to be at your sister's house. So he's like, well, Mom, I don't know, but that's where we were. We spent the whole time over there. And DeMonte, he ended up leaving to go somewhere. And so I was just there by myself with the other kids. And I'm thinking like don't have none of her kids. Matter of fact, her kids are in the foster home too, and this girl gonna let you stay over to her house, and that's not right. I was so mad, like, but I'm trying to keep my cool, like I said, because I don't want to just go off the handle. I want to hear the truth. I want to hear the whole story because I know my son can fabricate some stories now. He can tell a story and it ain't true. So I wanted to hear from the adults what's happening. So I end up calling Shanice. I got the number from his other aunt, the responsible aunt who was responsible for him. I'm going to call her the responsible aunt. So I got the number from the responsible aunt and I called Shanice and I said, hey, um, do you know where his suit is at? No, I don't know where his suit is at. We put everything in the suitcase. I said, yeah, I can tell you put everything in the suitcase. Even the pants that had urine on it. It was saturated with urine. Oh, that you a motherfucking lie, bitch. I'm like, oh, whoa. Have I came at you wrong? I didn't come at you wrong. I'm just literally talking to you as an adult because you really did you or somebody put those wet, saturated, urinated clothes back in his suitcase, and I just threw them in the washer just now. Matter of fact, you hear the washer growing? I walked over the washing machine. Do you hear the washer going? That's me washing his clothes from when he left your house, and they was in the suitcase, drenched with urine. I'm not making this up. Oh, you trying to call me dirty? You trying to call me dirty? I ain't no dirty bitch. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Okay, click. I hung up. I was not going to go back and forth with her anymore. So I said, I'm too grown for that and I'm too classy for that. So she ended up texting me. Now she's texting and she's calling me out of my name and all this stuff and talking about, go buy another suit, bitch, and all this stuff. I said, wow, this is some ghetto crap here. You know what? I say, this is going to be the last time that you hear from me. We're not going to talk anymore. Not over text message, not over phone, not even face to face. I'm too classy for this. I don't get down the way you're getting down. I never once called you out of your name, and this is how you're gonna approach me. You can have the suit. And yes, you did send my son home with some pissy clothes, which I have washed and I'm washing right now. But I will not go back and forth with you. I was not supposed to be talking to you no way, and my son was not supposed to be at your house in the first place. So I'm really mad at your sister more than I'm mad at you. And then I said I will be blocking y'all, and I blocked both of them. So I ended up getting a phone call later on from the responsible one. She called me on a different line, and she said, "So it is true. You did block me." I said, "Yes, I did." And when we get off this phone conversation, I'm going to block this phone too. And anytime you call me again on any line, I'm going to block that phone too. She said, "What did I do?" I said, "You're supposed to be the responsible one for my child, and I left them in your hands. And then you come at me first off, you ask me about my fiance, which I don't understand that why you even coming to me about him, and it's none of your business." And she's going to say, "Well, I did a background check on your fiance." And I say, "And what you find?" "Well, as of right now, it's nothing there. But what I did find was that he had one encounter with a police." I say, "And that encounter was dropped. Charges was never filed on him. And if you look back on it and you really go into the details, they was harassing him. He was coming out of his car, going into his home, and they stopped and bothered him. So get your freaking story right, because he wasn't doing anything wrong. That's why there was no charges filed. And for that to even be on any kind of paper, it's really messed up, because I don't know how that went. But what I do know is that I ain't marrying no criminal, and I'm not marrying someone who's out there doing the stuff that your baby daddy is doing. And I'm not going to go back and forth with you about him either, because I know he's involved in some illegal activity. So stop playing with me, girl." So I end up going through that kind of stuff with them. This is why I had to isolate my son from that family. Even though I thought she was the responsible one, she turned out to be just as manipulating as the rest of them, but hers was in a quiet, sneaky way. And I knew then that I had to block him from being able to be in that world with them, because I'm telling you, spirits are real, you guys. They will definitely try to attach themselves to you. And if they can't attach, they'll try to enter you and possess you and take over your body. And it's just something that I try to make sure that I try to keep my child protected from that. It's hard to protect children from the internet. It's hard to protect children from being exposed to predators. And it's really hard to be to protect them from the predators from within. And I'm talking about from family members. Those are the worst predators to ever encounter. You can encounter predators that are not related to you, and you can deal with that. But when you're dealing with someone who's related, that becomes that become horrible and horrific. It's a horrific experience, and it's definitely traumatizing. And I think that's what's going on with my son. I think he's traumatized in that area that he's have to deal with not being able to be in the view or in the company of my brother and of his biological mother. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to get him some therapy, get him to understand that life is not, like I told him yesterday, I said, life is not peaches and cream, baby. It's not sweet and full of roses. It's just not. There's problems in this world that is beyond anyone's explanation when it comes to dealing with crazy stuff, crazy people, crazy alternative, crazy ways, things happening. It's just not one of the things that I should have to be talking to you about at this moment, but it seems like I have to, because you're doing things that can cause you to get locked up. they do lock up little kids, little boy. And they should know that. It's called juvenile detention. And I don't want you in juvenile. Then you have a record that's going to follow you until your adulthood. And then you have a hard time with getting a career, a job, even going into the military or getting finances for school, even though his college is paid for in full. It's just the fact that we don't need no extra problems, man. Did you get it? And I'm trying to help him. So I was stressed out last night. I had the almost my biggest migraine that I could ever imagine. I say, these damn kids, man, these damn kids. I see why my friends were telling me not to have no kids. And I used to think that they were just being selfish. Like, why would you tell me not to have kids? And look at you, you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 kids and shit. And I'm like, no, don't tell me not to have no kids because you wish that you was in my shoes. And they was like, I do wish I was in your shoes. Man, you can go anywhere you want. You can do whatever you want. You can buy yourself whatever you want. You don't have to be spending money on clothes. You don't have to worry about school. You don't have to worry about nothing. You are all by yourself. And I was like, man, that is true. But at the same time, I felt like I had something missing in my life. And that was me being a mother. Even though motherhood is joy, oh, it's a beautiful thing. But man, it comes with a lot of stress. Just like my mama said, children, man, when they're young, they ride your lap. When they're older, they ride your heart. But this little boy riding my lap and my heart at the same time. And he's young. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, yeah. All I can say when it comes down to your babies, protect them, protect them, protect them from anybody. I mean, anybody. I don't care who they are. You got to protect them from that person because their lives are so fragile and they're so easily influenced to where anything could just change the dynamics of the way their life is supposed to go. It's hard to get back on track. And you don't want to have to be trying to figure out where you as a parent went wrong at. And you say, dang, did I fail my child? I felt like I felt my child. Why? What did I not do? Was I around enough? When I was around, was I giving him enough attention? What was it? And it's not that. It's that you just need to protect them from the predators that's within. And that's usually family members who are predators. You have to protect them from that. And you have to protect them from environment things such as internet, the telephone, stuff that they see. It's just a lot. And you can't put blindfolds on them, even though you wish you could. I see why Michael Jackson used to cover up his kids' faces. I thought he was covering up their faces. Honestly, I really thought he was covering up their faces because he didn't want people to see what his kids look like, which I know that's part of it. But when you look deeper into it, I think he was covering up their faces because he didn't want them to see people either. He didn't want them to see the world. He didn't want them to see what the world looked like because the world is horrible and it's ugly. And it's not a pretty sight when it comes down to the reality of everything. A lot of things is happening that it's just so hard to describe. It's hard to tell a child whose brain is not developed, whose brain has nothing in it but what it has been deposited in it. And a lot of things that's deposited is not what you feel is up to your standards. And now you got to get them to understand what's been deposited, what it's really about. And sometimes it could be that situation that is too soon for them to even know about it, or for you to be trying to explain to someone at that young age what it is happening to them, or what they saw or what they heard. And you got to figure out like, So like when my son told me that his mom and dad, his real mama and daddy, I'm going to say that every time. Your real mama and daddy. I'm your real mama. Look here, boy. Your pops is your real daddy. We the one raising you. We the one that's making sure that you eat every day. You got clothes on your body. You go to the doctor every freaking year. You go to the dentist every 6 months. You get your vision checked. We're the one that makes sure that you get your homework done. We're the one that makes sure that you're fed well, not just eating junk food all the time. We're the one that making sure that when you're sick, we give you the medicine that you need to get better. We're the one that's there when you need someone to talk to and you just talking about everything and sometimes nothing, but we listening to you talk about nothing. And we saying ourselves, is he ever going to stop talking? But it's good that he's talking because it let me know what kind of mood that he's in. So I just sit there and I say, you better recognize who your real parents are. It's not the ones who gave birth to you. It's the ones who's actually taking care of you and raising you to be a grown man and a good abiding citizen in this world. You'll learn as you get older. But I don't want to hear that my real parents no more. Those are your biological parents. Use that term around me and I won't get mad, or I'll feel better, at least. So don't make me feel like you take advantage of what I've been through to get you out of that foster home. I know you don't understand it now, but as you get older, you're going to understand by and by. Well, I'm Layla. I'm signing out. I had to talk about these damn kids, man, because they ain't nothing like the children that was growing up in the 80s, man. They ain't nothing. Back then when I was growing up, yeah, I was born in the late 70s and I was growing up in the 80s. We didn't have internet and like that, so we didn't have that kind of influence over our life, but we did still have influencing. We had other people, we also had TV, and we had things like that, but not to the extent to what these kids have today. And I know that it's not easy raising kids. I have been with my sister as she was raising her 3 girls. Now they're grown. I have been with my my former best friend as she had her 3 kids. One of her kids was pretty much similar, acting like my dang on child. But finally got that nipped in the bud, and now he's a good man. He's a great man. He's a good father. So I know that we can get this nipped in the bud with this little boy. Just got to stay on him. I believe that if you start on them from the very beginning, one of the things I wish that his teacher would have done was told us the very first time he stole, not waiting to the 3rd time, because I feel like once they got into him, he developed a habit at 3. I got this saying that I use. First time is a mistake. Second time is a habit. Third time, that's just who you are. It becomes you. And I feel like if she would have just waited, if she wouldn't have waited to the 3rd time to tell us that this little boy had stole from her, we could have nipped it in the bud the very first time when we could say, look, don't do it no more. This is the consequences. Give him the consequences. Build on that consequence and stay on that consequence until he understood, and hopefully he wouldn't have done it a 2nd time. But the problem is that he did steal at Walmart and we had to nip that in the bud. But I think because we moved to another state, he felt like, now I ain't got to worry about that cop coming to the house no more. Little boy, we're going to find a police officer right here in the state of Louisiana to come and to this house and do the same thing that other cop did. And then you're going to realize that you can't get away with nothing nowhere you go. That's just how I feel. So we'll get them together. Pray for us. I ask you to pray for us. Pray for us. And follow me on my Instagram at Layla Carroll. You can also follow me on Facebook at Layla the Queen. I got 2 Facebook pages, so you can follow Layla the Queen or Layla Carroll. I have 2. And I also have Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. Now, I got to be honest, I don't really operate my Twitter page that much. It's brand new, so I think because I really don't have no followers, it's probably why I don't really operate it like that. And plus, I do everything on Facebook, and I do a lot on Instagram, so I was thinking like, okay, well, just follow me on those 2 and we're good. You can follow me on my website, queendomshiplife.org. That's queendomshiplife.org. And I do have an event coming up, you guys. I know I have not talked about the event that often, but I'm going to talk about the event a little bit. My event is called Free Yourself Conference Gala. What's it's about? It's about freeing yourself from domestic violence. Anyone who's dealing with domestic violence, or you know anybody that's dealing with domestic violence, or even let's say you are an advocate against domestic violence. This event is going to be held in Houston, Texas, at the Westway Holiday Inn, and it's going to be on October the 7th. It's going to start at 6 p.m. It's over with at 10 p.m. It can even go a little longer if we're having so much fun. You know, I'm not pressing the issue, but it will start on time. That's for sure. No CP time, no color people time. It will begin immediately at 6 p.m. And to get your ticket, make sure you get your ticket because seats are limited. There's not a whole lot of room for everybody to just show up and be in there. So the capacity, want to make sure that we don't have a fire hazard and the fire marshal don't shut us down. So seats are limited. So make sure you get your tickets. Tickets, the way you get them is going to be on the event. I'm going to post it in the description. All you got to do is click on that link or copy and paste that link, and you'll be able to get your tickets. If you're coming, when you see me, say, hi, I got this information from podcast. I listened to your podcast. I think that whatever, and go from there. And, you know, I'm very friendly, so I'm not going to act like I don't know you or I'm stuck up. I'm not stuck up like that. I don't believe in people acting like that. I don't even know why people act like that in the first place. We are human. But also make sure that you get your tickets, because you have to get your tickets. You donate. When you get your ticket, it's going to ask you to make a donation. Put in whatever amount that you feel that you can afford or that you want to donate. And all proceeds, not every proceed, 75% of the proceeds will be going to the Houston Area Women's Center. And this is for us to help fight against domestic violence in our community. There will be guest speakers. There's guest speakers from police officers, also from people from the immigration, for those who are dealing with domestic violence. If you are an immigrant and you're dealing with domestic violence and you are in the United States and you don't have a citizenship, they can help you get a citizenship. So you can get with them at the event, so that way you'll be able to start working on getting your citizenship, but you will have to get away from your abuser though. And I'm going to have doctors, psychiatrists, as well as life coaches, and I'm also a life coach too. Yes, I am getting certified, but I'm still a life coach. I'm also getting my certification as a professional life coach, and my life coaching specialty is going to be in self-esteem building and relationships. So I hope you guys are going to be showing up and that you're going to come. I really am looking forward to see some of my podcast listeners. That's going to be amazing to see some of you guys there. And thank you. I'm signing out. Layla.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.